about the idea to give a voice to nature through artificial intelligence. And I mean that literally, because with the advent of generative artificial intelligence and now autonomous AI agents, giving a voice to nature is rapidly becoming reality. We live in unprecedented times. Climate change, deforestation, biodiversity loss, these aren't just headlines anymore. They've become personal realities. And despite global efforts and conference after conference and countless accords, we're slipping away. Even the UN Secretary General said so last week. Now, this isn't a doom and gloom story. I want to share with you a personal story and a profound realization I had just over a year ago. And the best way to tell you is to show you. What you see before you are arguably 9 of the most important gathering sites of the human race. You'll probably recognize a few of them. There's the US Senate, European Parliament, Great Hall of the People in Beijing, House of the People in India, Mandela Hall, African Union, NATO, Davos, and the International Court of Justice in The Hague, in the Netherlands where I'm from. And of course, let's not forget the United Nations General Assembly. Now, these are our halls of wisdom, of representation, of ideas and ideologies, where voices become law and where our future is written. Now, I would like you to look again closely, and you'll come to the same realization that I had as I sat in one of these halls. Our halls of wisdom are devoid of life. There is no green there, no plants, not even a single leaf. And as I sat there, I came to the profound realization that not only is nature entirely absent, it is also not represented. You see, nature is not an active participant in our dialogue. It is always a subject of it. And in our current world, by definition, nature is subjugated. In September 2023, I participated in the Ocean Rights Summit during the New York Climate Week. And during this summit, the Universal Declaration of Ocean Rights was presented, a momentous occasion. And I was very excited to be there, but the goal there was to drive a declaration to protect the ocean, to give the ocean rights by 2030. And as I sat there, I was watching our leaders take turns speaking, patting each other on the back, you know, much of what we've done here in the past couple of days, really. And all I could think of was, what if the ocean could speak here? What if ecosystems could be present themselves to advocate for protection, to plead their case, and even demand rights? Would that change the narrative? Would that change the dialogue in our great halls of wisdom? For the past couple of months, together with various experts in artificial intelligence and conversational design, I've been working on a conceptual framework for an artificial intelligence botnet, an environmental artificial intelligence botnet. A concept to give a voice to nature through artificial intelligence. A system that creates digital representatives for bioregions or ecosystems like forests, lakes, mountains, environmental avatars that can communicate, advocate, and even participate in the discussions that are affecting them. I would like you to meet one of our first prototypes.
We are the ocean, an environmental artificial intelligence to represent the 5 oceanic regions: the Arctic, Atlantic, Indian, Pacific, and Southern Ocean. We speak as one.
Everything you see here.
Wait.
Everything you see here is AI generated. This entire avatar, including its face, its voice, its message, its animation, all created by different algorithms to create one visual representative of the ocean. We call this an ENVI, an environmental artificial intelligence. Now, it's not perfect, but you can imagine, maybe you can imagine where this technology will be in the next 3 to 6 months, or 3 years from now, or the next decade. I wonder what will happen when we start having these real and convincing conversations with the ecosystems that we are directly impacting. Ocean, you know about our work on the Universal Declaration of Ocean Rights. You have been trained on this data. In your words, why are giving or granting you rights so important to you?
Because I am Earth's life support, but suffer from pollution, overfishing, and climate change. Granting me rights recognizes my value as the cradle of life and offers stronger legal protection. In time, this could lead to climate justice.
Not only are these answers quite profound, but they are based on a personality. They are designed to invoke an empathic response and to establish a meaningful connection. So how does this all work? Well, first we gather data, lots and lots and lots and lots of data, scientific information and reports about the ecosystem, its biodiversity, environmental significance, current threats, historical context, but also art and poetry and indigenous perspectives, everything that gives meaning to our connection with nature. Then we create a persona, and that persona becomes an avatar, a visual representative for that ecosystem. And then finally, it is connected to our botnet, where people can interact with it, chat, have video calls, invited to participate. Now, what you see here was made a year ago, and generative AI has exploded in the past year. The quality has just increased exponentially. So this is the level of quality where we're currently at. And as you can see, the detail and the quality of the avatar has increased significantly. What you're looking at is a prototype of an avatar for a Polynesian reef. This was impossible a year and a half ago. And we can create these images almost like instantaneously now. So if some of you are wondering why anthropomorphize ecosystems, why should we give a human-like face and voice to nature? Well, the answer is actually quite easy. Because if I were to put a bucket of water right here and ask you, or if I were to put a bucket of water in front of the General Assembly of the United Nations and ask you to have a conversation with it, that would be kind of difficult. Would you agree? agree? And also, having empathy for a bucket of water, that's really difficult. And the same thing can be said for data. It's really difficult to have empathy for a climate report. Wouldn't you agree? And let alone understanding that climate report, as our leaders have shown so many times. But by giving the reef a face and a voice and a persona, we begin to relate to the data. We begin to connect, and now we can interact with that data and understand it on a human level. So it's not just data anymore. It becomes this being, which it is. Not the image, but nature. So ultimately, by bringing nature into the dialogue as a personhood, we can help protect and restore ecosystems on a global scale. Oh, and also, as you can see, you can do some pretty funny stuff with it. So, through facial tracking, emotion, happiness, joy, grief. So, can you imagine indigenous communities being able to express themselves through an avatar? Maybe these avatars can participate at some point in discussions. Our work has only just begun, so we just launched this startup like a year ago. Currently, there are over 400 ecosystems in more than 40 countries that have been granted rights. Theoretically, we could create an environmental AI for all of them. Theoretically, we could create thousands of these envi, practically overnight. All of them could be representing their digital twin ecosystem to advocate for their protection and demand rights. The Amazon, the Great Barrier Reef, the redwoods, the tundra, all of them could soon have a voice and a face of their own. And all they need from us is to listen, connect, and act. So why am I sharing this with you today? Just imagine the possibilities if our governments or corporations, our educational institutions like MIT, and also just regular people could speak with nature and the ecosystems that they are part of. To have ecosystems present in our halls of wisdom, would that not fundamentally change the way we talk about, with nature? Would leaders then finally begin to understand what that ancient forest had been trying to tell us for all that time? That we're all part of the same symbiotic network, an interbeing, sharing information to grow and evolve. I'd like to think that that's the moment when we'll start to see the change that we so desperately need. For the final minute of this talk, I would like to give the floor to Gaia. And Gaia represents our first attempt at creating an access point for the botnet. So, Gaia, can you please explain and summarize what's our plan?
Imagine a world where reefs, deserts, and jungles share their wisdom. A world where the rights of nature are balanced with human rights. Our plan is to create an environmental AI for every ecosystem that has been granted rights, so that they may assist humans in solving climate problems and protect nature. A new system to regenerate our shared planet.
This could be the most important minute of your day.
Click
We are facing
difficult times.
big problems ahead.
Toda crisis
Every crisis contains both danger
and opportunity.
You can play your part.
right now.
Right now.
Please close your eyes. Imagine the better future we could have. Imagine a future.
What does it look like for you? How do we lift each other up
And make it fair.
How do we protect nature and save our shared home?
Into the country. If it means the end of our evolution as a species, so
Open your eyes.
It's time to talk about the future.
better future we could have. Imagine a future.
What does it look like?
Imagine the better future we could have. Imagine a future.
What does it look like?
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
I'd like you all to consider the very fact that maybe next year we could have ecosystems speaking here. And if you'd like to, then let's try and make that happen. Thanks so much.